This is INSCITED 2013, the first international conference on science and technology for economic diversification, endorsed by the Ministry of Science and Technology of Trinidad and Tobago and organized jointly by the National Institute of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, NIHERST, Trinidad and Tobago, the Organization of American States, OAS, and CSIR, National Institute of Science, Technology and Development Studies, NISTADS, India. INSCITED seeks to promote collaboration between India, Trinidad and Tobago, and other emerging economies facing similar development challenges. INSCITED is a forum where international experts in science and technology, labor, and higher education exchange ideas and experiences which provide a basis for future planning. In emerging economies like Trinidad and Tobago, science and technology must focus on areas where they have influence. Higher education and training, generating the required labor skills to meet changing demands, promoting technology and innovation in order to diversify the economy and increase competitiveness in the global economy. Held over 3 days, June the 5th to 7th, 2013, at the Trinidad Hilton Conference Center, INSCITED attracted 150 delegates and featured 27 international, regional, and local speakers who dealt with inclusive growth and economic diversification, human capital development in a globalized setting, technology and sustainable development. Here is what key speakers had to say. The Honorable Dr. Rupert Griffith, Minister of Science and Technology, Trinidad and Tobago, recalled the challenge by the late Lloyd Best to display the vision to compete in the global order.
I am proud to advise that here at home, we have just rolled out the country's national ICT plan, the vision for which is, and I quote, to create a dynamic knowledge-based society driven by innovative use of ICTs to enhance the social, economic, and cultural development of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Senator the Honorable Boindradat Tiwari, Minister of Planning and Sustainable Development, spoke to the human imagination that drives competitiveness and powers the imagination.
To me, the real mystery is the human imagination, which is an inexhaustible source of creative energy and regenerative power. It is this that drives scientific discovery and inquiry, makes intervention possible, stimulates creativity, fuels innovation, and is the core of sustainability.
Mr. Jawala Rambaran, Governor of the Central Bank, Trinidad and Tobago.
The Caribbean Sea is home to 1/10 of the world's coral reefs and has an outstanding biodiversity of seagrass beds and mangroves, all of which are attractions to almost 1/3 of the world's tourists. Seafood accounts for more than 7% of the animal protein consumed by the people in the Caribbean. Fishing is a significant provider of jobs and income in the Caribbean. More than 1.5 million people in the Caribbean rely for their livelihood on commercial fishing. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, in 2011, tourism accounted for 13% of total regional employment, 14% of the Caribbean's GDP, and 17% of total export earnings.
Dr. Kilo Rojas Jimenez, Vice Minister of Science and Technology, Costa Rica, encouraged Trinidad and Tobago to emulate Costa Rica's success in doubling its gross domestic product over 3 decades through economic diversification.
In the last 25 years, Costa Rica managed to double the GDP per capita and the forest coverage. This is clearly an example that economic growth and environmental protection can coexist. Sometimes we think that they are enemies, but they are not, just the way how we managed.
Pundit Professor Prakash Prasad, Chairman of NIHERST, provided an insight into drafting of the national policy.
Whichever government is in power and governments must change. That's the nature of politics and the nature of life. But there must be some things that are continuous. Something, and the people felt that the science and technology policy is so important to the well-being of the country, without prejudice to any governments or new governments' right to make some changes, but the main thrust of the policy should be kept. And the R&D body should be non-political.
Senator the Honorable Fazal Karim, Minister of Education and Skills Training, Trinidad and Tobago, outlined his ministry's many initiatives and reforms to build brains and stress the need for data-driven development.
What I propose to do as well in Trinidad and Tobago is to launch a success story out of India, which was created by Dr. Sugata Mitra, and it is called the Hole in the Wall Project. And the Hole in the Wall Project is a simple one. You just look at a wall, made a hole in it, put a computer in it, in an underserved community. The young boys and girls will go and interface how to drag, how to click, how to surf the internet. Sometimes we look at these things as simple things, but they have profound impact and effect on the lives of people.
Dr. Jason Blackstock, Deputy Director, Centre for Engineering Policy, University College London, United Kingdom, explored knowledge systems for supporting public decisions.
I mentioned social capital, and these sorts of socializing events are equally important. Again, when focused on the high level of thinking about our knowledge systems and the formal interactions, we often miss the value and the opportunities of structuring the very informal interactions, creating those opportunities and encouraging dialogues and conversations where new ideas can be much more fertily generated.
Dr. Jeffrey Policino Orlando, Malta Council for Science and Technology, showed how Malta successfully faced similar development challenges to those of Trinidad and Tobago to promote economic transformation.
Malta is the smallest EU member state. We do lie at the southernmost tip of Europe. We have an open economy, which is heavily reliant on international trade. Our estimated GDP in 2012 was 6.75 million euro. We are a very small nation, as I have already said. Basically, we're a population of 400,000, and we are trying to focus as much as possible on the research and innovation sector to make us ever more competitive.
Good food, entertainment, booths, and friendships all added value. At the conclusion, it was agreed that economic diversification required an increase in both public and private research and development, more closely linking of scientists and policymakers, more highly skilled workers to meet changing needs, and strategies to reverse the brain drain. The benefits of INSCITED, improving the lives of those in emerging markets and developing countries, a better life for citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.